Welcome everybody to our continuation of our series looking at our urban parking system repository. My name's Scott Hebbard from Sparx Systems, and today we're looking at advanced use case modeling. I would encourage everyone watching this video to have a look at the Sparx Systems YouTube channel to look at our introductory and intermediate videos on use case modeling to get up to speed. I'd like to welcome our presenter today, Stephen Maguire. Welcome, Stephen. Can you tell us how we're going to look at some additional features in use case modeling and what advanced features we're going to be taking a look at today?
Thanks for the introduction, Scott. Always a pleasure to be here. Yes, we're going to have a little bit of a dive deeply into the advanced features of use case modeling. I always like to set my perspective, Scott. Up in the top right hand corner of the application, you can see here we've got UML and we've got behavioral modeling. I've got that selected. That changes the application into focus on use case modeling, and you can see here the builder page has popped up, and we've got a number of different patterns that we've got available to start modeling. So this can be very useful for a novice modeler, experienced, advanced, or an expert modeler. You can put these into your application directly by clicking on the Create Model button there, and that will inject that content in. I like to do things from first principles, so let's close that page, Scott, and let's get started. We've got our navigation page open here. We are going to look at behavioral models. I can simply click on this behavioral models item there, and this cell here, parking meter system use case model, and that's the one we want to get through. There's a little icon here, Scott, just to bring up the diagram there to have a preview it. It's quite a large diagram, but let's click through on that and have a little bit of a look at what we're doing. We'll remove this item for a moment here and make the diagram a little bit neater there. So what we looked at in the previous videos was the creation of the use case model. Very, very quick look back at that. We've got a boundary element here that defines the scope of our use case model. Very important that that's named properly. We have got actors who are outside the use case model, both human actors on the left-hand side represented as stick figures and system actors on the right-hand side represented as rectangles. Inside the box, we have a number of use cases here, and in the intermediate use case video, we looked at the fact that we were specializing the actors and the use cases. So we looked at the fact that we had a motorist, and we specialized it into a premium motorist who has got some extra value from the system.
So they can do things with the urban parking system that a normal motorist can't do, such as a guaranteed space reservation and doing recurring booking.
Yeah, that's right, Scott, and that's why they're paying the big bucks for the for the premium service, and they are getting that extra value. The other thing is that we've specialized the use cases. So in this case here, we've got our book parking session specialized into one-time booking, event booking, and recurring booking. And you can see that the premium motorist is the only one that's able to do the recurring booking one in that generalized set. So we looked at the include relationship, and we talked a bit about that and the fact that it's taking out text or extra information that we're going to reuse, and you can see this process payment one is being reused in a number of different cases. The other thing we looked at was the scenario editor. We've got this one-time booking here, a single use case parking reservation, an intermediate or future parking session with a defined end time. And so we've got that description there, but we can go into the responsibilities window. And if you don't have that open, remember you can get that from the start ribbon, the all windows panel, and the properties window there. And it's available there, as all windows are, from these very handy sets of the complete set of windows for the application. So I have that window open. Let's open that up and have a look. With this one selected, you can see that I've got a basic path in there, and it's a scenario's basic path. I can call that anything that I want. I could change the name of that if I wanted to, and I can put some notes in there as well. So I encourage you to do that. So, the notes might be, this is the sunny day scenario, and we can continue those notes on. But I encourage you, as always, to put notes in. Now, you notice, Scott, here I've got structured scenarios, and I can click edit that. I will do that now, and you can see that that brings up a list of steps that the use case follows. And you can see on the left-hand side, we've got, like I call it a table tennis game between an actor and the system. So first step belongs to the actor. The motorist approaches the physical parking meter. The system displays the welcome and enter your vehicle registration number. The actor does, that goes on and on. Now, we talked about in the intermediate video about the fact that this is the sunny day scenario. This is what you'd expect to happen if everything is going as it should, as it planned. But the world that we live in is never like that. And so the use case model allows us to put in alternate scenarios or exception scenarios. So what this means is that something that's going to happen differently. It doesn't have to be a point of failure. It's just a point that might need to follow a different path. So one of the things that we're going to put in for here is one of our alternate paths is we're going to look at what would happen if the user put in an invalid registration plate. So over here on this window, we can just simply type that in, and it's an invalid registration. And you notice what will happen here, it comes up automatically as an alternate path because we can only actually have one basic path for a scenario. So this one here, we can just put some, again, we can put some descriptions in. The user enters an incorrect formatted license plate. I've made a spelling mistake there. And I can just simply click on that and correct that.
Fix it up.
Spelling.
Yes.
Fix that up. So that goes in. Let's put another one of these in now because we can and we will. So I like to kind of think about all the scenarios that might happen, from the jump. But it might be that you work differently and you're the kind of person that just wants to go, okay, I'll put one in and fill that one out. But let's just move that along a little bit and put that one in. So another scenario that could happen is the motorist cancels before entering the payment. So this is a common scenario for me, Scott. I sometimes park in the city to visit clients, and I come across a meter, and the meter pops up, and my meeting's for 2 hours, and so I put in a 3 hours, and it's $27 or $54 or something, and I think, wow, that's a lot of money. I'm not going to continue with that. I'll go and find some parking somewhere else, and so I cancel that. Again, if I click on there, that has made that an alternate scenario, and I can put in some notes here. The user decides that the price is too high, or they don't space. So whatever the reason is, we're going to put those notes in, and they're going into that one. Now, what I can do now is go into edit that, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in some steps for that. So the invalid license plate, let's put in something there for this one, and we'll say the system validates the input and detects an invalid format, and now the system move this across because that's going there, and the motorist clears the input and re-enters the registration number. So you notice, Scott, that in the sunny day scenario, everything was going along like a table tennis game. It was actor system, actor system. You can see now that we actually have two system steps in here, and the word system in the first 15 characters of a step will tell EA that it needs to put up a little icon.
So it's detected as itself. You haven't had to set that.
No, that's right. But I could, if I want to, I could click on the step and set the step as a system. It knows it's an actor. It says, okay, you can set it as a system. So that's there. Let's save that one there. And now let's go into our basic scenario. Let me just do that. Get that. So have a look. So let's have a look at our basic scenario now that we've finished that. Now, what's going to happen, Scott, is we need to say that whereabouts in this sunny day scenario does this thing go?
Kind of looks like step 2 is where you enter the vehicle registration number, but how do you tell it to?
Yeah. So it is actually in step, it's actually in step 3. Step 2 is
Yep.
the displaying of that thing, and the motorist does that,
Yep.
enters that in step 3. So what I do is I select that one there, and then I use the convenient toolbar there and say, add an alternate path. And so I've got a number of different alternate paths. Invalid registration plate, that's the one I want, and I'm going to add that one in. Now you notice that what EA has done now in this window underneath, or panel underneath that we haven't looked at, we've got entry points, and it says that
Yep.
the invalid registration plate starts at step 3A. But what we need to know now is, how does this thing finish? Like, we can't just have them going off to this alternate scenario. We need to get them back into the main path. It's sort of like a little digression that they make, if you like, a little excursion, or a sidetrack, and then they come back again. The way we do that is on this join over here, we can click on this and click down, and we can join them back up at another point. And I think the point we want to come in is at point 4, so just the step below. So we'll click that one, and that's joined them up at step 4. Now we can add another one of these, and we can say, look, at 6A, when this system displays this extremely expensive parking option, or something that they really don't want to pay, we can then say, let's add another alternate path, and this time we can say motorist cancels before payment. So let's do okay to that, and let's return them to a point as well. Join it back up again. They're not going to do any of those other steps. They're just going to actually walk away from the meter.
Yeah.
So we'll just press 9 there. So we might need to talk to the parking meter controllers and say, listen, we've got too many people walking away from the meter. Maybe you should reduce your parking costs a little bit. So we've done that, and let's save those steps as well. So let's have a look at this. But while we're here, let's have a quick look at this context, reference, and constraints. We're going to look at this in a future video, but just to make you aware of it, we have these context references here. So things that this particular use case is related to. So it's related to the display panel there. So this is the requirement, and you can see, I'll move that over there, and we'll look at those details. You can see that use case is related to the system must allow a user to enter their registration number. So that's obviously important, and the display panel is there. The system provides a clear and weatherproof touchscreen display. So what we've done there, Scott, is we've introduced this alternate scenarios. Now we do have other scenarios as well. We've got an exception one. We didn't do one of those. We could add an exception path. So something that happens that really shouldn't happen, and it's not kind of an alternate path, but something that we need to handle. So with that being done, one of the really useful things about Enterprise Architect is the fact that even though I've done this as text, which is the canonical way that most people will enter the steps of a use case, but some people might choose to use an activity diagram or even a sequence diagram to represent the steps that people are performing, and not to do them in the scenario. But one of the great things about Enterprise Architect is that you can actually generate out these steps as an activity diagram. So let's do that. We're just simple. We just choose this icon here with the diagram icon, and we've got a number of different options. I'm just going to say, let's create an activity diagram, and you can see now that Enterprise Architect has done that work for me. In a future video, we're going to show how we can look at dealing with this process payment one as well. So stay tuned for what will be our expert use case modeling video. But you can see that that's done that quite nicely. Now, the advantage of that, Scott, is that what I like to do with these diagrams is that it is a table tennis game between the actor and the system. That allows us to really think about the destiny and why we're doing this use case diagram in the first place, and that is to provide information about what the system must do and what the user has to do. So everything that's listed here is, the motorist must do this, or the system must do something. Everything that the motorist must do, you could think about being very useful for someone who is going to do user experience design. So the people that are designing the display panel of the meter, they think, okay, we need something for them to enter their parking meter, registration plate. So how long should that be? What should it look like? But then also the developers need to know what they need to do in response to what a user does. So the system must display the welcome enter vehicle registration number text on that screen. So what you can do with these is you could either color them, or you could style this diagram differently so that people could see which steps were being done by the user and which ones are being done by the system. And that's very easy to do. There are a number of different ways we could do that to automate the way that works. But it's a very useful thing to do, Scott. It separates out what the UX people do and what the dev people must do. So we can, if we change that diagram, we can easily refresh that as well. It's quite simple. What's happened here, Scott, is that can look at this, and I need to select the use case in the model for that to pop up. So that's a common error with people. If you've got a different use case selected and we go back to the scenarios window, you think, well, why is that not working? And you can see
because you could have multiple scenarios for each use case on the diagram.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So look, that's covering most of the things that I wanted to talk about with the advanced topic. In the expert topic, which will be our next video, we'll talk about a number of other aspects of this, including the extend relationship. And also over here, Scott, you can see there are a number of things that we haven't actually looked at here: users, results, and state. So
I was going to ask about those columns.
Yeah, we'll touch on those in the expert video. So that's it for this video, and I hope that you've learnt some things that you can apply to your own projects. And I look forward to presenting to you in a future video.
Thank you very much, Stephen. And I encourage everyone to have a look at the Sparx Systems YouTube channel, to have a look at the introductory and intermediate videos. And there are many more videos that cover every aspect of our urban parking system. And encourage you to have a look at those videos and learn more about Enterprise Architect and Sparx Systems tools in developing a very comprehensive system such as our urban parking meter system. If you have any questions for Stephen, you can reach out via his LinkedIn and website credentials that are listed in the webinar description below. Thank you, Stephen, for your expertise once again. It's been great to have you here telling us some advanced topics around scenario planning in Enterprise Architect. Thank you.
Always a pleasure, Scott.